I'm Tom Morgan, Microsoft MVP and Community Reporter at Microsoft Ignite 2019. I'm joined today by Andrew Bybee.
Hey.
So I know we've gone back away.
Yep.
You've always kind of been involved in the kind of platform experience for Teams. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so now I'm working in the calling and meeting space for Teams. I'm really helping to bring our ISV ecosystem forward and build on the platform.
Okay, that's interesting. So what does that kind of mean then as a developer? Is that the interaction as in terms of like involvement, or is it more kind of general strategy setting and yeah, what does the job kind of involve day to day for you?
Great question. So we're really looking at two areas. One is helping to bring the general platform forward. So thinking about communication APIs for Graph. We released a preview last year. We're seeing lots of investment in that, so very excited about that. And then also thinking about how we help our partner ecosystem build on those platforms to bring solutions to market. Two solutions that we've been working on most recently have been really to help move the Teams calling and meeting experience forward around compliance recording and contact center or customer engagement. So how do we help businesses use Teams as the hub for internal and external communication?
Got it. So let's focus in on those two things then, compliance and call center. So compliance, that's been a big ask obviously for everyone. Everyone wants to kind of do it. Sometimes it seems like doing it straight to the cloud is the obvious answer, right? Because it's storage and compute.
Yep.
I guess the obvious question is, why don't Microsoft just do that straight into Azure?
That's a great question. So there's actually a lot of interesting complexity that comes, especially with some of these larger organizations that have the most kind of heavy burdens around regulation. So if you're a large financial institution, for example, you're going to deal with a lot of different geographies, a lot of different places that you have to sort of worry about regulations and compliance and storage and archive and things like that. And a lot of those companies have already invested in systems for many years. So what we want to do is to help them connect Teams and calling and meeting recordings into those existing systems and to help bring those systems then into the cloud.
Got it.
And so it's really about bringing both together in a way that will help those companies move forward.
So are you working with those companies
We
kind of
are.
directly? Okay,
Yeah, we are.
That's really interesting. So how you've made some announcements kind of already this week around certification. Does that stuff all tie together then? Is that how that works?
It does, absolutely. So I think part of our focus in the announcement that we shared on Monday is that we're actually going to be bringing in a compliance recording certification program for Teams. And that will help us to basically make sure that we're working with partners in a consistent way to make sure that they're getting the highest quality experiences and solutions out built in the cloud for our customers.
Sorry, no, go on.
Yeah, so I think that's going to help drive a lot of confidence for customers, and it's going to help drive a lot of, I think, opportunity for partners.
So does that mean, so if I'm out there, I'm looking for a compliance solution, if it's certified, that means Microsoft has worked with the vendor to kind of understand, like, is that always the case? Like, you've been through that process, is that so they can trust it will work, I guess? Yeah.
Exactly, and we've done some similar certification programs like this in the past, and we have certification programs today, for example, for Teams devices. And so this is really about how we can help identify and establish standards, and then work with those partners to make sure that their solutions are meeting those standards, and have that verified by a third party.
And is this like an enforced certification? What I mean by that is, can you be a non-certified solution but still use the APIs?
Great question. So yes, you still have the ability to use the APIs. If you're an internal customer and you want to do some development, you can go ahead and do that. But if you're really interested in selling the product, we want to make sure that partners can have a good standard to work towards and customers can have a standard to depend on.
Right. And we've been talking about compliance, and is that all the same for contact center, or is that the idea, or is it different when it comes to contact centers?
Great question. Yeah. So in fact, we're actually bringing that same model to both compliance recording and to our contact center solutions, as well as to our Teams applications themselves. So in fact, having certification models for the solutions and the extensions that they're bringing into Teams, we think are going to be important ways to help enterprise customers especially, but really all customers sort of get that trust and confidence about these solutions are going to work, they're going to work really well, and they're going to integrate well into their Microsoft 365 environment.
That's interesting. So what's that been like working kind of with those different partners? Because I imagine they all have slightly different requirements, different ways of working, like they different needs, like different wants. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good actually. So I think the partners are super excited. They're seeing the momentum around Teams, and we want to help support them and bring their businesses forward. But we also are seeing a lot of interest and motivation from customers, joint customers as well. So ultimately, all of our work in this area is really motivated around those joint customer success kind of motives, and so we're looking forward to doing that.
Fantastic. And you've got a couple of sessions tomorrow talking about this stuff, right?
I do, yeah. So we're doing what we call learning paths, which means that we actually have a series of sessions in a row oriented on a similar sort of topic. So in this case, we're doing a learning path for Teams calling. So everything from how you plan it, how you manage it, how you get it deployed, and then we have 2 sessions as part of that learning path tomorrow, one on compliance recording and then followed by another on contact center and how you integrate those solutions with Teams. So we'll be spending some good time hopefully to talk people through what we're doing, how it works, who we're working with, and how we're going to move forward in these areas.
Got it. Fantastic. Andrew, thanks so much for your time. It's really good. Thanks.
All right.